Today I have another unboxing for you. Another one of these little white boxes. Like I said in the last video, everybody should recognize what this is. If you don't know what this box is, you probably haven't been collecting traditional knives for very long. Alright, we're going to try using the Jack Wolf, the Benny, for the unboxing. Now this isn't very good at utility cuts. If you look at how that point is, you got to go way up in the air. So we're going to try and use it like this and use that belly. Alright, let me see if I can unbox this without showing anything. I've got to get way too far up in the air, and I don't particularly like doing that. I don't like cutting like that. To me, a Wharncliffe or a sheep's foot is much better at doing this task. Okay, let me open this up underneath. Let's see what's in here. We have a Rosecraft box. So what is this one? Rosecraft, how do you pronounce this? Loosahatchie Jack. Now let's open her up. This one is in the red sandalwood. I think it's sandalwood is what they call it. But it's the red version. They have a red and then they have a yellow. Wow. That's gorgeous. Let's take a look at the centering before we even go anywhere. Okay. Looking at it, to my eye, it's ever so slightly off to the show side. Ever so slightly. Let's open it and close it once. Now it looks about perfect. Can't ask for much better. Every single one of these Rosecrafts I open up, they're just amazing. Everything is flush. Springs are all flush. Take a look. You don't see any gaps. Springs terminated square. Same thing on the other end. And one spot, if you look down in here, look down in there on the case, and you tell me what the difference is. See how nice and smooth this is? Yeah, go tell me on the case or a Rough Rider what you see when you look down in there. Half stop. Nice snap. The pull is decent. It's strong, but it's not over the top. It's not crazy. It's easy to open, but it's still pretty stiff at the same time. One thing I do like is you have a little bit of a kick, which the Rosecrafts do have a little bit, and you can hold it there, and it gives you warning if that blade was going to start closing on you. Beautiful blade shape. I have one of these in the orange bone, and I love it. So I got this one because I wanted a couple of Rosecrafts with wood handles. I wanted those wood covers. Now let's take a look. There's another box in here. Another Rosecraft. This is the Otter Creek Barlow. See if that's in focus. I can't really tell. Hopefully that was. Again, they give you a nice little string to pull it out. And we'll see what this one is in the yellow wood. So that's why they had the Jack in yellow and red, but I got the yellow. I got the red in that because this one was advertised in the yellow. But looking at this, man, what's the difference? If anything, it's kind of funny. This one is supposed to be the yellow, but if anything, this looks a little bit more redder and this looks a little bit more brown to me. So, I don't know. But they're both different kinds of wood. You know, wood is a natural material. You don't always get the same color in every piece of wood. Alright, let's take a look at the centering before we even open that. Perfection. You can see the Otter paw mark on there. Now this one is advertised as a true Barlow, but Yes, it is a Barlow. I'll even consider this one a Barlow. But is it a true Barlow? I'm going to say no. Because if you look at it, the bolster and the liner are all one piece. In a true Barlow, the liner would go all the way through, and that would be one piece, usually brass, and then your bolster would be a separate piece that's added onto it, where this is all one piece. So it is not a true Barlow, even though it still is a Barlow. If you're collecting strictly traditional knives and you want them to be 100% traditional, this is not the right knife, because it doesn't quite adhere to the old ways of making everything. You bring in some modern machining practices and you can make a knife like this much more affordable and much higher precision. Nice half stop, nice close. So after opening and closing it, we're still perfectly centered. Beautiful. Another beautiful knife by Rosecraft. You know, the fit and finish, the joint between the wood and the stainless steel. I can't feel the pins. Nothing. Open. The springs are flush. I can't even catch a fingernail on anything. Let's try the half stop. Okay. You hear that? I can barely catch a nail if I push down hard and I try. Now let's close it. Nail does not catch. So it's perfect, closed and open, and just the ever so slightest catch halfway. That's amazing. I'm really amazed that they can do this for the price. And even still, you probably can't even see anything in the video. It looks perfect. And like I said, that's being overly fussy and overly nitpicky. These knives are just incredible. You know, whichever one. Beautiful knives. Can't go wrong with these things. I highly recommend these Rosecrafts. You get an incredible knife for an incredible price. It's actually unheard of quality. I haven't gotten any other knives in this price range that can equal the quality of these knives. And you get D2 tool steel. So you're not using the typical junk 440, B or 420 HC that most of your other knives are using. You get a quality steel that holds an edge pretty much like a modern super steel. Not 100% stainless. D2 would be more of a semi-stainless. That's the one thing that I do miss, is I do like carbon steel and the patina that you get on the knives. You're not going to get that with this. But you're going to get a cutting tool that's going to stay sharp no matter what you have to do during the day. You get something with a proper edge geometry. They come down nice and thin behind the edge. They're excellent slicers. They're just incredible knives to do work with. Let's check the edge thickness on this one. And after you do this for a while on a bunch of different knives, you definitely can feel the difference in the thickness. Still, nice and thin. Not super incredibly thin. It's not as thin as my Jack Wolf. Let me say this after hours Jack. This is a little bit thinner behind the edge. But you get a good, tough, heavy-duty knife, thin enough to cut and slice, because after all, isn't that what a knife is designed for? A knife is designed to cut, and first and foremost, that's what it should do, is cut. And if the knife is too thick behind the edge, it's not going to cut. They just hit the sweet spot with these knives. And I can highly recommend either one of these, or any of the Rosecrafts. They're all spectacular. The new muskrat that I got, that I showed you last time, great knife. Really nice. This one, really nice pull. Very heavy pull. Great knife. And great snap. Just perfection. So if you want a good traditional, it's going to be a good work knife that you can put in your pocket and you can use daily. And you don't have to worry about, if you lose it, you're carrying a $300 knife, you're carrying a rare knife, you're carrying a knife that you can't replace. You're carrying a $50, $60 knife. Something happens and it disappears, you get another one. And you have a knife that's a pleasure to use. I just don't think you can beat them as an EDC knife in the traditional world. Yes, there are a lot of other knives that, you know, you have all kinds of fancy cover materials. You have some really beautiful bones. Rosecraft does some pretty nice stuff, but not like some of the intricate stuff that's really beautiful. So you can get that other aspect of it. But we're talking a knife for work, an EDC knife to use to get stuff done. I need to use a knife a lot every day in my job, and also at home. Like I said, between doing carpentry, electrical work, plumbing, IT work, sound and lighting, professional sound and lighting, a knife is something that I use continually, and I need a knife that's going to perform. And I've been more than happy with those Rosecrafts. I've been happier with those than carrying a case, carrying a Rough Rider, even a lot of fancy knives. A lot of times I would say I'd rather carry that than something like a Jack Wolf. Very similar performance. Yes, the S90V on the Jack Wolf will hold an edge longer, but the D2 is no slouch, and it gets everything done you need and touches up very easily. So as an EDC knife, as a working man's knife, Rosecraft is really hard to beat. We'll see you on the next one.